question asking me why do I isolate myself. The question was a little longer than that, but that's the gist of it. And in these short little clips that I do, it doesn't really explain my life and my situation and how I feel about things in general. And I don't know that that's necessarily a place I want to go. But based on the question, I'll attempt to answer that. I don't feel I isolate myself the way the impression was with that person. I did choose a place to live that's away from things because I grew up in the country. When I was a kid, the school was 14 miles away. No, I didn't have to walk to school. We had buses. But the closest general store was a mile away. The closest neighbors were a pretty good hike, to get there. And I loved that. I loved being alone and going through the woods and exploring and hunting and that sort of thing. And as I grew up and I had to work and do all those things through my life, being in management and business, I've had to be a slave to the telephone and deal with a lot of people, give speeches in front of thousands of people, and be an outgoing social person that never really fit me, but that's what you do. You do what you need to do. I'm kind of back to what was always comfortable to me. Now, I'm a 5-minute walk from the town, and there's plenty of people there. I have a friend who visits 3, 4, 5 times a week. I go into Cuenca a couple times a week. But part of that question was based on something I said apparently, and I don't recall it, but that I avoid meetings with gringos. Well, not exactly, but I do avoid the social events for the most part, and I'll tell you why. It's not that I'm a gringo hater. I mean, come on. I mean, that's what I am. It has nothing to do with that. And the few times I've run into some people at like a Joe's Secret Garden, a nice place to eat that's kind of a community eating thing, I've met some very nice people there. But when I go to restaurants, for example, very often I'll hear, American at the table over here. There was one in particular. There's a guy and there's 2 women, and they were eating together. And the waiter comes out, and the first thing he does is start complaining about his last visit. He didn't get something when he ordered it, and whatever, and they left. And the man said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. If we forgot that, did we charge you for it?" "Well, no, you didn't charge it, but I should get a couple dollars off of my appetizer today because of this." And to me, that's just rude. That would be rude anywhere. You didn't say anything the last time. Now you're going to come in, you're going to make a scene and accuse them of something. He can't defend himself, and frankly, nobody knows if that's even true. Just for a couple dollars. It was pretty disgusting. And so it continues on, and they're talking quite loud, and I found that's actually pretty common. We tend to speak a lot louder than local people. And when you're with a local person and you're in a restaurant and you hear them, it's like they're so loud. It kind of dawns on you. And so now I make a point not to be obnoxious and loud, but they were talking loud. It wasn't just that they were talking loud. The guy was bragging about his big business deals and how much money he's got, and it was all about him and all about how much he's got and how wonderful he was and how intelligent he was, and it was just obnoxious. And this is the same guy that minutes before was trying to beat down a waiter for a couple dollars. The whole scene was ugly. Now you say that's just one scene and you can't judge what, you're right. And those people are everywhere. But there's an inordinate amount of those people, for some reason, that have come to Cuenca, because I see that scene played out all the time. And again, there's some very nice people. But in the States, you're going to find those people, I don't know, maybe 10%. Let's say 10% of the people when you go out are going to be like that. Here, you're going to find 50, 60% of the people are like that. It's almost embarrassing. I mean, you know, it's like people look at them and then they see you as, you know, one of them, and it's like, it's a sad situation. You also get an inordinate amount of people. Now, I was a hippie. I actually went with some friends to Woodstock. I was peace, love, and dope, and long hair, and anti-Vietnam, even though I ended up getting a draft number and joining the Marine Corps and going anyway. But I was that kind of hippie. Alice's Restaurant type of hippie. So I get that, I understand that, but that was then. This is now. And everything that was hippie-ish then doesn't really apply anymore, and it hasn't for a long time. Yet, you get lots of hippie people here. I don't know how to describe this sort of person, this category of person. And I know I'm going to offend people, but I'm just going to, you know, say how I see it. And you're offended, sorry about that. Not really, doesn't really matter. But you get a large group of people that are whole food, vegan, save the earth, save the planet, I want to be socialist, everything that's anti-American is good. Long hair, peace, love, and dope. And I don't get it. And it's annoying, it's obnoxious. And you see these people around and they're just pretenders. It reminds me of a time I lived in California, and my term, probably stolen from Frank Zappa, I don't know, but they were plastic people. Everybody was pretending. Everybody had a front. Everybody had something they dressed for other people. They bought a car for other people. Their apartment was for other people. There was nothing that felt real. Even the plants were specially bred to survive the pollution that at the time, in the 70s, existed. It's not like that anymore, thankfully, but in the States, but at the time it was pretty bad. You wake up in the morning and Los Angeles was brown. And it was like that every day, and your lungs would burn. Now I go to Cuenca and my lungs burn. But it's nowhere near that bad. In Cuenca, it's really the buses. And I'm kind of going around in a circle here. But my time in Los Angeles was the people there that I ran into. It was such a different breed of people coming from upstate New York in the country, partly raised by a stepfather who was a rodeo cowboy, carried a shoulder holster and a pistol, drove a sports car. I grew up in that kind of environment, hunting and fishing and all of those things. Yes, upstate New York is like that. And to go to Los Angeles where everybody is copying everybody. Everybody is putting on a show for everybody else. It was also fake. I did find a couple people that I made friends with. They weren't from Los Angeles and they were running into the same kind of thing. There's a lot of that feel here. There's a fair share of people that are here that are reinventing their life, and that's fine. But they're wanting to be something that they're not. And so they're putting on this air of what they want to be, what they wish they could be, what they want other people to think that they are. And they don't realize how obvious and transparent it is. And that inauthenticity, it just, I don't like it. I don't like to be around it. I don't like to see it. Now, hey, if that's what they want to do, that's fine. I mean, that's their thing. And I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm saying that I'm not comfortable around people like that. People that the truth isn't the reality. It's what they portray to them becomes their reality. I can't trust people like that. They're not real to me. And anything that they say, I don't even want to listen to it because it's probably a load of crap. And I just don't need that. And so I pick and choose. I avoid the social events because there's such a large number of those kind of people. I just don't need to be around it, and so I avoid it. I wish it wasn't like that. I wish I could find groups that weren't like that, and we won't do that unless you go out and look, but I just, to this point, I have no desire to do that sort of thing. Maybe at some point I will, but it's just best for me to avoid it. I certainly don't want to be obnoxious and say something that's insulting to somebody, but I'll tell you, my mind around those kind of people are just burning up with things that would be insulting. That guy in that restaurant who was talking all that crap, I mean, you just want to stand up and tell him he's just full of shit. And how dare he beat down this waiter for $2 if he's such the mega millionaire that he brags about. But you know, that doesn't serve any purpose, so you just keep your mouth shut and live your life and let him make a fool out of himself. But I don't want to be around that. So I hope that answered that question. If it didn't, I don't know what else I can say about it. So, see ya.
You know you could.